Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges.
SunnyHostin, the fiery and unflinching co-host of TheView, has always prided herself on being a staunch advocate for justice, transparency, and moral integrity. Known for her bold stances on issues ranging from political corruption to systemic inequality, she now finds herself in the spotlight in a way she likely never anticipated, prompting tough questions across the country. Her husband, Dr. Manny Hostin, a well-known orthopedic surgeon, is at the center of a massive $450 million RICO lawsuit that is shaking the healthcare industry and the Hostin family's public image. The explosive allegations suggest that Dr. Hostin is a key player in a major insurance fraud scheme involving kickbacks and unnecessary surgeries. These accusations not only threaten to tarnish his professional reputation, but also cast a shadow over Sunny's credibility. Is this a case of do as I say, not as I do? Let's dive into the details of the case and explore the potential double standards at play.
Dr. Manny Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and husband of TheView co-host SunnyHostin, is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases. Wow. Hostin's attorney, Daniel Twites, denies the allegations, calling the lawsuit a meritless attempt by a near-bankrupt insurance carrier to intimidate doctors and restrict healthcare benefits. The case involves claims that Hostin performs unnecessary surgeries on patients after minor accidents without exploring less invasive treatments, with American Transit citing New York's 1974 no-fault law as contributing to widespread.
The RICO lawsuit filed in December accuses Dr. Manny Hostin of participating in a coordinated effort to defraud insurance companies through fraudulent billing practices. The allegations are serious. Dr. Hostin, along with nearly 200 other defendants, is accused of performing unnecessary surgeries on patients with only minor injuries, often bypassing less invasive treatments like physical therapy. In some cases, the severity of the injuries was allegedly exaggerated. If proven true, this practice not only exposes patients to unnecessary medical procedures, but also increases healthcare costs for everyone, as insurance companies are forced to cover exaggerated treatments. What makes this case even more concerning is the scale of the operation. The lawsuit claims that surgery centers were paying doctors, including Dr. Hostin, kickbacks in exchange for patient referrals, creating a system of financial incentives that prioritized profit over patient safety. The damage from this scandal extends beyond the individuals involved. At the heart of the lawsuit is a demand for over $450 million in damages, highlighting larger systemic issues within the healthcare and insurance industries. Critics argue that such schemes not only defraud insurance companies, but also drive up premiums for ordinary Americans, further burdening those already struggling with rising healthcare costs.
I mean, I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well.
The public perception of Dr. Hostin, once regarded as a reputable surgeon, is now in jeopardy. And by extension, his wife SunnyHostin's reputation is being called into question. Dr. Hostin's lawyer has vigorously denied the charges, labeling the lawsuit a baseless attempt by an insurance company to avoid paying claims. However, this defense raises troubling questions. Is there an industry-wide culture that exploits both doctors and patients, allowing fraudulent schemes to thrive? Adding another layer of complexity is SunnyHostin's public defense of her husband's legal battles on TheView. She has spoken in his favor, suggesting that Dr. Hostin was merely seeking fair compensation for his work and that the legal action is an overreach by a financially troubled insurance company. What initially seemed like a heartfelt defense of her husband's dedication to his patients now appears to be an inadvertent endorsement of the very practices at the heart of the $450 million lawsuit. This has led critics to question whether Sunny's staunch commitment to accountability and transparency is as unwavering as she claims. How can someone who champions justice overlook the serious allegations surrounding her own family? This apparent contradiction has ignited a firestorm of criticism, with people questioning whether her principles extend beyond political and social talking points.
Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. So there are a lot of problems with it. But the notion that we are in a violent country, this country was built on violence. We're a very violent country. And it's just undeniable that that's the case. And so I'm not, unfortunately, surprised that people are celebrating the use of violence.
SunnyHostin is no stranger to positioning herself as a moral voice on TheView. She has often used her platform to speak out against corporate greed, political corruption, and the ethical failings of conservative politicians. She has been particularly vocal about the importance of holding powerful figures accountable, frequently criticizing public figures like Matt Gaetz and Donald Trump. However, when it comes to her husband's legal troubles, Sunny's response has been notably different. Instead of confronting the allegations head-on, her comments have been relatively muted and, in some cases, outright defensive of the system her husband is accused of exploiting. This discrepancy has led to accusations of hypocrisy, with many questioning why she is so quick to condemn others, but hesitant to apply the same level of scrutiny to her own family. Does Sunny's commitment to justice only apply to others, or is she willing to hold her own loved ones accountable as well?
I was at my daughter's high school graduation.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I didn't feel somber. I felt like the Knicks won the tournament. I felt like America won.
Yep.
I felt like New York won. I felt like the Manhattan DA's office won. I felt like I won.
This situation isn't just about SunnyHostin's personal stance. It also highlights the broader context in which this controversy is unfolding. For years, Sunny has been a vocal critic of the so-called elite establishment and their apparent immunity from scrutiny. She has frequently accused conservative figures and corporate moguls of skirting accountability, often calling them out for alleged ethical lapses. Now, with her own family facing serious allegations, the media's response to the scandal has been telling. Despite the gravity of the situation, mainstream media coverage of the Hostin lawsuit has been surprisingly sparse. In contrast, conservative figures often find themselves under relentless media scrutiny, regardless of whether the allegations against them are proven. This discrepancy has led many to accuse the media of playing favourites, with some claiming that elite figures, particularly those on the liberal side of the political spectrum, are shielded from the same level of scrutiny that is frequently applied to their conservative counterparts.
I mean, Pat, you're married. Tom, you're married. If your husband's doing something, if he's allegedly doing something like this, you guys would know if your wives were up to some nefarious stuff. But let's just not forget who she is. She's been, for years, lecturing America about morality, inequality, systemic failures, and look at her track record. How many times does she have to go on in the past 2 months and look at the camera and do a legal apology?
The silence surrounding the Hostin case points to a larger issue of media bias and raises uncomfortable questions about the privilege that comes with being a well-connected figure in the media and political world. This controversy highlights the stark contrast between SunnyHostin's public persona as a crusader for justice and the private reality of her family's legal troubles. While she has spent years advocating for transparency, accountability, and fairness, her response to the scandal surrounding her husband has left many questioning whether those principles apply within her own household. The double standards at play are hard to ignore, and for many, this situation exemplifies the hypocrisy that permeates not only the media and politics, but also the personal lives of those who claim to champion moral high ground. As this scandal unfolds, it raises an important question. Are SunnyHostin's calls for justice as consistent as she claims, or are they merely convenient when directed at others? Does her commitment to accountability hold firm when her own family faces scrutiny? This latest chapter in the Hostin story has many wondering whether the moral posturing of public figures can truly be trusted when their own interests are at stake. What do you think about this double standard? Is SunnyHostin's defense of her husband a sign of hypocrisy, or is there more to the story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.